Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, you are going to be learning how to create a user account, like a user account directly from a Flutter application. But before I proceed, please do subscribe to my channel. Most of my viewers on this channel are not subscribing. Look at, we are still in 3.747. Please do subscribe. Please, I'm begging, do subscribe. So today we are going to be working on how to create a user account, just as we have the backend already created from a WordPress, from a Flutter application rather. We are going to be learning how to create from a Flutter application. So if you don't know how the backend works, you can take this tutorial to learn the backend. So we are going to be doing the front end on Flutter. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive straight to the folder we are creating this. So I'm going to be heading down to my Finder, then I will go to my document area where I'm saving my Flutter project. So over here I'm going to create a new folder called let's create this folder. Let this folder be YouTube Flutter, YouTube, or WordPress. Let's say WordPress user. Okay, so this will be called WordPress user. Let me sort this guy by type, yeah, by kind. So WordPress user is the folder we are going to be creating this Flutter application into, because it's a new application from scratch that we're going to be building. So I'm going to open terminal in this folder. Okay, so let's do this way. Let's just copy this name, because Flutter is going to automatically create the folder for us. So let's take out this folder. Move to bin, go back to Flutter, then open Flutter folder in terminal, that is the subfolder. So over here I'm going to have create Flutter creates. Okay, so the folder we just copied, now I'm going to paste it here, which is WordPress user. I hope you can see my screen. WordPress user. So I'm going to hit enter, then it's going to create a new Flutter project into the folder. Okay, now the project has been created into the folder. So I'll close this terminal. If I go back to the Flutter folder, you're going to see it on WordPress user. So we have the source codes over here. So I'm going to be opening this folder in VS Code. Okay, so let me close this okay, don't let me close this Finder. Let me just open VS Code directly. So I'm going to open a new window on VS Code, and I'm going to drag what we have here into this place. Awesome. So I'll close the getting started. Okay, so here we have the code of the Flutter. Everything is here. So I'm going to initialize my emulator. So let me bring in my emulator, because by default it's going to come up with what is it called, with Mac OS version. So let me go to my Android Studio and launch the emulator that we're going to be using. So let me launch this emulator, virtual device, virtual device, then launch. Okay, so the virtual device is still launching, it's processing. Okay, so it's done processing. That is closed. Close this, close this. Awesome. Okay, so we are here guys, we are here. Okay, so let's test our emulator. Let's see, is it working? Okay, we can go to browser. Okay, continue, no thanks. Okay, it's working. Let's make sure everything works fine. Let me Google search code. Let's see if it's working. Okay, good, it's working. So let's go back to the home page. Yeah, so over here I'm going to zoom my VS Code so you can see the screen very well. Let me zoom this guy. Okay, I believe this is visible enough. Yeah, this is visible enough. Okay, so in this place now I'm going to go to the library, because this library is where we have the Dart project itself, the entire Dart project. So what we have here, you don't worry, so you won't be confused. I will delete everything. We don't need to have that one there. So I will save what we have here. So these are been saved. So over here now, we are going to be initializing our main method, because for every Flutter project there is an entry point of the main. So I'm going to have main So in this main, you can just take out this list argument, because we are not passing any argument into it. Then inside this place, we are going to initialize our run app. So before we initialize run app, we have to first of all create the class, the stateless widgets class, that is going to be handling the main entry. Then later we create a stateful widget of the home page. So let's create a stateless widget here. Stateless widget of the entering area. So here will be stateless widget. Okay, so this stateless widget is going to be called application. Okay, so this stateless widget is going to be the one handling the material app. Okay, material app section. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to return material app here. Material app. Okay, so under my material app, we're going to introduce our title, team data, and code. So let's bring in the title, and I believe my copilot has done that for me. Okay, so here we have the title, Flutter demo. So let's call this WordPress API, WordPress user API. Okay, so team data should be red. I love it when the team is red. So what this team data does is button, title, or anything background by default is going to be red. Okay, so the next thing we need to declare now is this home page. This home page is not defined yet, so I'm going to initialize a stateful widget, because a stateful widget will allow us to auto reload. So here we're going to have stateful widgets. So here is going to be stateful widgets. So let's use the stateful widget here to support auto reload. So here we're going to call it home page. Awesome. So in this home page, we are going to return a scaffold. Yeah, we need to return a scaffold so we can introduce app bar. So here we're going to have return scaffold. Okay, that has actually returned it for me. So return scaffold. So the scaffold is going to be returning is going to be passing app bar, and the app bar is going to have this text as WordPress user API. So all this blue is not really error, it's just calling my attention to do something. So what is it saying is the error is saying prefer const with constant. So I'm going to fix this, and it's going to add a constant modifier to it. So that's just the error. So that's not really an error, so it will automatically tell you if you are doing anything wrong. You'll be notified. Okay, so we have our stateful widget declared. So this stateful widget will be initialized down on the home page part of the material app. Okay, so take out this one, delete it, pass home page, close your class. Then it said constant, so we need to add constant. So we that we are from PHP. We just need to couple up with Flutter constant and final keyword, whatever. So now I'm going to save this now. As you can see, we are not passing it into the main method at the moment. So now you are going to introduce the run app. So run app is going to be introduced. So here we are going to have the run app. So the run app is going to be accepting application. So run app will be accepting const application. So I believe I'm very correct. So no more error. So now we're not passing the constant. Okay, so now we have const application returning into the run app method, because this run app method will be the one launching the Flutter itself. Okay, so let's save this, and let's run it. Let's see what we have. So run, let's see, it's launching. Let's see what we got. Then let's wait for the build to be done. Yeah, it's currently building. Okay, yeah, let's hold on. Let's take a little while. Yeah. It's not supposed to take so much time. I actually re-initialize my Android emulator, so that might give it a little problem, trying to fix those things. Okay, so now here we have the application loaded. So let's try to take out this debug banner. should bug banner no, so let's put that as false. So debug banner to be false. Let's see. Okay, no more debug banner. That debug banner that we normally have. Okay, so after that one is done, let me close this terminal. Control J, Command J if you're on Mac. Okay, so now we have this simple layout for us. So we have this title WordPress user API. So this title is not actually the one printed to that part. So it is this guy here that is actually printed there. So if I call this WordPress 2, that will be changed to WordPress 2. And if I call this WordPress user API, it's going to restore back to it. Okay, so the next thing I want us to do now is to create a form feed. So instead of having hello world and center keyword, we take this guy out and introduce a form feed. Okay, so let me take out this one, take out this guy. Then inside this guy we are going to be introducing a padding. So we need to introduce padding first, but before we do the padding, let's first highlight what we actually building. So we need to add an input of, let me show you the input. Let's go to Postman. So Postman app. So let's open the Postman so we can see the input feed we are trying to replicate. Yeah, okay, so inside this Postman, as you can see, we have register what user. So this register user accepts a form data of first name, last name, username, and password, and also email. So these are the feeds we are going to be creating. So over here now we're going to have a padding. So let's introduce the padding now. So padding. So the padding is going to be we are going to use 8.0, or we should use 15. I think 15 will be awesome. So let's use 15. 15 will be great. Let me change this 8.0 to 15. Okay, so and the child is going to be column. So let's take this guy out and add column into it. So column. Okay, then column we take in children. Okay, children, where are you? Okay, then we have a little error. Where is the error coming from? Who is this expected to find column? Okay, let's pause that. Okay, awesome. Okay, scaffold. It is scaffold that is handling that part. Yeah, I think that's where we have the issue, and we have the ABBA closed down here. Scaffold started here, closed here. ABBA closed here. So I'm just trying to check the best optimization we can use. Okay, also we close this guy. So let me just drop this down so we can have it this way. Awesome. So now inside those children, I'm going to have form feed. So form feed of user. So form feeds of users. Okay, so form feed of user, we should have text form feed, the username. Okay, so we have the username. We don't need this on change. Actually, we don't need on change. So the first one should be first name. So here we're going to have first name. So add first name for me. Thank you. First name is added, and this next one will be last name. Okay, last name. I think I'm correct. First name, last name, username, email, password. Okay, password, email. No voila. So first name, last name, username, then password and email. Password and email. Okay, password. Okay, password. Then let's obsolete this guy, but let me just leave it the way it is so that you see what I'm trying to talk about. So password, and the next one will be email. Sorry, email. Okay, email. So this is what we have from Postman. Everything is correct. First name, last name, username, password, email. So where are we having errors? Let's see. Prefer const with constructor. So we are required to add const to it. So let's add the const so we don't take error. Okay, so now we have everything we needed. Let's open the Android app and save this. Now as you can see, everything is what loaded: the first name, the last name, the username, the password, and also the email. Everything is added. So the next thing we need to add is a button. So here we're going to have button elevated. So we don't want to use raise button, we need elevated, no, we need elevated button. So elevated button, we are not using that kind of button anymore. So here we have this guy, and the child will be a simple text of submit or some save. So let's take this guy down so you can see my screen very well. Okay, take this guy to down. So we have elevated button of submit. So this submit button will be the one to trigger once there is once the user is done typing. So let's add a space between the button and this last input, so they are too close. We are going to use size box for that. So let's introduce sized box of height of 20. I think 20 is good. Okay, we are still required to add const, man. Anyway, this is their constant const, voila. Okay, so we have 10 here. Let's save this. Okay, awesome. Yeah, 10 is okay. 10 is okay for the button spacing. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now is to test this input feed. Let's see. So the first name is Adelaide, the last name is Ayodeji, username is Ayodeji. Okay, sorry, Ayodeji. Then password is 12345, and the email is delay Ayodeji 12345 at gmail.com. Okay, so let's see, let's click save. It's saving, the button is triggering. Let's open the what's it called, let's bring out the terminal so we can see what we are saving. So Ctrl J to bring up the terminal. Okay, so the terminal is up. If I click anything, you're not gonna see anything, it's blank. And also this password, we need to make it star. We need to upload the password. So to do that, we are going to be adding up secure text into it, which is which is true. Okay, save that so we don't see what the user type into the place. Yeah. So the next thing we need to do now is to pass a controller to every form field we have here. We need to pass a controller to what we have over there. So to introduce the controller, we need to write the controller above here. So here is going to be form controller. So we need to have text form controller of every input field we have, the first name, the last name, and co. Okay, so we are going to be passing all the controllers into it. So let's do that. Final form controller. So final first name controller is equals to text editing controller. Then the next one last name controller. Then the next one email controller. Then the next one password controller. Then the next one final username controller. Username controller. Okay, is this. So we have first name, we have last name, we have email, we have password, and we have username. Okay, so let's take this guy down so we can see what we are doing. So save it. Now it's saved, but yet if you click on the submit button, nothing will happen. Okay, so now I take it down to where we have those inputs. So every input has a controller, so we need to start passing it into the controller, into the text for feed. So here I'm going to have controller, and controller is going to accept first name controller, then also last name also will pass it controller, username will also be passed with controller. Sorry, this email controller, come on, we need to change it to username, man. Username controller, awesome. Then password controller, awesome. Email controller, yeah, now we are there. Yeah, so after we are done doing everything, the inside is event listener, just like a JavaScript. Inside this event listener, we are going to make a print. So let's just do a print. I'm working. Let's see if the button is actually clicking. So I'm working. So save it. So the reason why we have this blue is because we are on development. So it says avoid print in words in production. So that don't be confused about that. So if I clear this now and I click on submit, you are going to see the trigger. So let's look for the trigger. Okay, can you see it shows the trigger here now. I'm working. So that is for the button. So now that shows that the button is working perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to do the next thing, which is the controllers accepting. So we need to now start accepting the controllers. So to accept the controller, we can just write a variable, or we just pass it directly. So instead of doing that, instead of writing a variable and passing it into and passing the controller values into it one by one, that will take a lot of stress. So let's just optimize by creating a new file. So we're going to create a new file called functions dot that. Imagine I want to write dot php. No, we are used to php. Okay, so what I'm gonna declare is a class. So class WordPress user API, or WordPress user functions. So let's just call this way. Then the first method we are going to be introducing is register user, because this tutorial is going to be in series. So the first one we're just doing now is register user function. So we're going to have this as register user. So this is going to be register. So let's call it dynamic. So it will be dynamic. Also, don't forget future dynamic. Future dynamic. Future dynamic. Future dynamic. Then register user. Then in this future dynamic register user, we are going to be passing an object parameter that can be passed without checking the position, is what we're going to be using. So let me first of all close this method. The inside this place, we are going to be introducing the method, the object method. So the first one is username, the email, the password. Actually everything is actually required. So to make everything required, you can pass required variable into it, but I will not be passing required because this is just a test. Yeah, it's just a test. So I'm going to have the first one as first name. So let's check the Postman again, what we are sending. So first name as this is a variable. I'm declaring as a normal data. So first name, then first name is added, then the next one is last name, email, username, and password. Okay, I think we are correct. First name, last name, last name, email, username, and also what, password. Whew, man. So now this data is passed, but because we are making this private, that's why we're having this issue. So we just make it capital letter, so we won't have any issue here. Let's combine it to be capital letter. So register user, what do we have? What's the issue? The body might be complete, normally causing new. Okay, it's because we are not returning anything. Okay, so let's just return something so we don't have that error. So return no for now. Let's just return no. Oh, none is not being accepted. So return Harry. Man, this is just what something as a list. Okay, so now we are going to do that. So let's just take one after the other. So first, now we have all this data declared: the first name, the last name, the email, the username, and also the password. So now all this data now is going to be used. But before we do that, let's just return the data again back to confirm it's actually working. So I'm going to return this same data back to where it's coming from. So let's return it back, the same data. Okay, so what's the error? Replace this. Okay, oh sorry, he's trying to pick it as a map, but we're not doing map, we are using future dynamic. Okay, so what are we going to do over here? So let's just pass I'm working. So let's see. Future dynamic is not doing what I need. Replace type with string. No, I'm not returning string. I'm returning dynamic data. What do we do? Okay, let's just take out the future. I think this will make it dynamic. Let's see. Okay, it's non-dynamic, so it's not more future. So let's pass the dynamic into it. So don't forget, the purpose of having you programming or writing something is for you to get a final answer. I do more of PHP, don't mind my errors. So I do more of PHP, but I'm just launching into this Dart. So let's dive straight to it. So now after that has been done and we change to dynamic and dynamic is accepted, so what I'm gonna do now, I want to return what we are receiving, the first name, the last name. Let's return it back. That's the aim. So I want to return it back. Hey, awesome. That is the point, returning the data I'm accepting back so I can see if it's working. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the main. So anytime this button is triggered, we send the controller's values to the function area, this function area, which is register user. So we send it down to this register user method, then we return it to be sure that it's working. So here I'm going to have what is it called, the class declared. So let's declare the class. So first we have variable response. Variable response is equals to WordPress user class, then dot register user. Exactly, that's what I want to do. So this is exactly what I want to do, but we need to import this guy. Let's import it. Import functions.dat. Okay, so now we have this imported into this place. Now after this method has been triggered and the data has been returned, we return everything down to response area, then we print it down here. Okay, so let's first do this before we start talking about the awaits and your sync. So now let's open the mobile app. Let's clear what we have here. Okay, so let's enter password. Sorry, it's not here. Sorry. Okay, let's go back to this place. Password 12345. This thing is not clicking. Okay, 12345. Okay, email. Let's see, aa@gmail.com. Okay, so that has been passed. So let's click on submit. Do we get anything? Okay, we got something. Can you see? We got first name, last name, and email. Oh man. So let's pause for now. I need to take a little break, then we continue, man.